we'll begin chapter 3, playing with numbers. This is your chapter's name. Here, we have studied about factors and multiples in previous class. I hope everyone remember, right? Yes. So we'll begin with factors first of all. You know what are factors? A factor of a number is an exact divisor of that number. It means that any number's factor when it is asked, it means that the given number will come in whichever tables. All those tables in which that given number is coming, those tables will be considered as its factors, right? I'll give you one example and show. If suppose 36, what could be the factors of 36? I told you that this number is coming in whichever tables. All those tables will be considered as 36's factors, right? So I told you, I have already said this in previous class that the first factor always is 1. Any number's first factor always is 1, keep in mind. Okay, after 1, second factor is that number same. Okay, now any number's first factor always is 1 and second factor that number same. After this, we all know the divisibility rules, right? Divisibility rules also we are well aware with. The number is coming in the table of 2 when? If its ones place is a even number, right? 2, 4, 6, 8 and 0. I told you this. So here the ones place is 6. So it definitely 2 will be its factor. We already know the divisibility rule of 3. The divisibility rule for 3 is we are adding the digits of the given number. While adding, if the number is coming in the table of 3 means that number is the factor of 3 also. So it will be the factor of 3 because 6 plus 3 is 9 and 9 is coming in the table of 3. We know the divisibility rule of 4. Yes, I told you to divide the given number with 4. If any remainder is there means it is not the factor and no remainder means yes, it is a factor, or else we will see the number if even and like that we will say that it is the factor of 4. So 36, 4 9s are 36, 4 also is the factor. Is 5 a factor of 36? We know the rule, that is 0 and 5 in one's place, but it is 6 here, so 5 will not be the factor. In the table of 6, if the number has factor 2 and the number has factor 3 also, 2 and 3 are its factor, na? So 6 definitely will be its factor, right? Then 7, no. 8 also, this number will come, no. Then 9 4s are 36. Are you getting this clear or not? Similarly, we will write all those tables in which 36 is coming. Those tables will be considered as its factor. So factor is clear. So we all know that factors means what? The number which is exact divisor of the given number. Also, I have written one point here. If you see, a factor is a smaller number that divides the given number completely without leaving any remainder. I told this also in previous class now while we were studying factors and multiples. What I said, you remember that any number, if we don't know that whether 9 will be the factor of 27 or not, or 36 will be the factor of 4 or not, how come we will know that if we don't know the divisibility rules? If we don't know the divisibility rules, then to say the number is factor or not, just we will divide the two numbers. While dividing the two numbers, any remainder is left, that means it is not the factor, and when remainder is not left means that is the factor of that given number. Are you getting my point what I said? Once again I'll repeat it, that if suppose you want to say that factors of 64 and you don't know the divisibility rule of any number, like you don't know the divisibility rule of 4 or 5, whatever number it is, you don't know any rules. So whenever we don't know the rules, what do? Simply we will divide that number with 2. If remainder is there, means not the factor. Remainder is not there, means it is the factor. Again, we don't know the rule for 3. We'll divide it with 3 and so on. You understood my point? So whenever if we don't know the rules, we will simply divide the number. And while dividing, if there is no remainder, it is clearly written without leaving any remainder, means then it is a factor. And if there some remainder is left, that means it is not the factor. You understood my point? So I hope factor is clear. One more note point you can see here. We can say that a number is a multiple of each of its factor. Once again, I'll read it. You see, we can say that a number is a multiple of each of its factor. What does this mean? You know, multiples. Multiple means what? Suppose it is asked to write the multiples of 12. Simple language. Already I have told this in previous class. Once again, I'll go through it. That this 12, what are the numbers coming in the table of 12? 12 ones are 12, 2s are 24, 36, 48, 60 and so on. Understood? So these are the multiples. Whenever it is asked about the multiples, one thing, simple line you just keep in mind that in the given number, in the given numbers table, what all numbers are coming? Those numbers are known as multiple of the given number. Understood? It is asked for 12's multiple. So these are the 12's multiple. Suppose it is asked to write the multiples of, I'll tell you 8. So what could be the multiples of 8? Means the numbers which are coming in the table of 8. So in the table of 8, what numbers are coming? 8, 16, 24 and so on. You got my point clear? So this is just a recap for your factors and multiples. In this chapter, playing with numbers, we will study only two things. One is your factors, other one is your multiple. I'll repeat once again. Factor means that number which divides with the given number completely without leaving any remainder, and multiple means number is factor of its own. What does this mean? That in the given numbers multiple, what are the numbers coming in its table? That's all. So this thing, that is factor and multiple, is what we have to discuss in this chapter, playing with numbers. In this clip, only this much introduction I have given about factors and multiple. Next clip, I'll tell you about some points I'll tell you to be kept in mind while finding the factors and while finding the multiples, and then we will simply start our exercises. Thank you all.